Mr. Fernandez, you and your former fiancee, Ms. Butler, say everything rides on today's DNA results. Now, you claim you found evidence that she cheated and another man may have fathered your little girl, Divine. Now, you called off the wedding, pawned the ring, and lost $300. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you're suing her for that, and you've petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove you are not her daughter's father.
Yes.
Ms. Butler, although you admit to cheating during the window of conception, you say you have no doubt Mr. Fernandez is Divine's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Fernandez, why did you pawn the ring?
Because I was frustrated, I was angry. I took the ring back and I left. The ring actually cost about $700. I was only given about $350 for it, Your Honor.
Do you have a receipt for the ring?
I actually don't have a receipt for the ring, but...
Before all that, when we first got together, he already had a girlfriend. So he already was a cheater in the beginning. He cheated with...
I cheated. Why are we here? I didn't cheat.
Okay.
Why are we here right now?
You did cheat, and that's exactly why I cheated. But he already had a girlfriend when we first got together. You know the baby is yours.
How can I cheat and the baby...
You know the baby is yours. You did cheat.
Miss Butler, why did you cheat?
Right, why did you cheat?
Because...
Miss Butler?
I want to tell you. Okay. One day, he come over my house, and he had the girl was supposed to be pregnant. It was supposed to be his baby. But he comes over, he say he was at the house seeing the baby. He comes to my house.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
And he smelled exactly like sex, his whole body. He think, you know what I'm saying, like I come in, I kiss him, I smell it. So I start kissing him all over because I'm like, okay, but I really was smelling him. That's what I was doing. So I'm kissing him, I smell sex everywhere, all over his body.
Okay, I get it.
Your Honor.
So,
Your Honor, I came in from work.
You lying.
Went to try to get some sleep.
I know
try
what
to get some
smell
sleep.
like.
And she say, oh, you smell like sex.
Know,
I smell like sex. I've been working all day.
Smell like,
working all day. Working all day.
It's a difference between sweat and sex.
So the bottom line is you felt
that she cheated. That's the bottom
like
line.
he had been cheating.
Yes.
And then what happened?
We get into a big argument. I put him out because I know what I smell. I don't care what he's talking about. I know what I smell. I'm bleeding my nose over his lies any day. So after he cheated on me, I called my friends so we can go out and I can have some drinks and I could try to get over him. We were out partying, drinking and everything, and some guys were buying me drinks, buying her drinks. So
they bought you drinks,
eventually,
huh?
yes. So eventually we end up going to the room or whatever. And, you know, my friends were off doing their own thing. You know, I was drunk and I kind of felt, you know, pressure even more because they were all doing what they were doing. So I went on ahead and did it, but I used a condom, for sure. I used a condom. It's no, you know, down my mind, I know I used a condom.
So you admit to cheating?
I don't feel like I was cheating because he cheated on me.
So it was sexual intercourse, it's cheating. Cheating is cheating when we were together.
Were you still in the relationship or you had broken up?
I felt like we was broken up. He said,
like...
yeah.
Okay, so bottom line is you slept with somebody else?
Yes, yes.
And you say you used a condom, though?
I did use a condom, yes.
Now, how did you find out that she slept with somebody else?
I found out it took weeks of me pressing it out of her. When I came home, it was just me and her there one day. I see her phone. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a big snooper. So I grabbed the phone.
Yes.
I paid for the phone, but look, I'm a big snooper. I grabbed the phone.
Put on to make you a
I grabbed the phone, I looked through it, I see her hugged up with a guy. Some Gucci man looking guy. I don't think he's black, just, hey, who is this? I confronted her about it. Who is this? Who is this Gucci man looking guy? Who is this?
You wouldn't have found the picture.
Who is this?
You wouldn't have found the picture.
See that right there, you sneaky.
So wait a minute, you said you considered yourself to be broken up at the time.
Yes.
But you said you guys were at home, so you still lived together?
Still there. Yes, Your Honor. Still live together.
But we were separated because he cheated on me, so I didn't want to be
I never cheated. You assumed I cheated.
You did cheat.
You cheated, got caught red-handed. I never cheated.
When did she come clean?
She came clean. It took weeks. It took weeks for her to actually
You just kept asking her over and over again?
I kept asking her. It was several arguments.
And I wore a condom.
You allergic to condoms, right?
And I wore a condom.
But you allergic to it?
But I didn't know him.
So you're going to eat some food that you allergic to it. But you ain't know him. You ain't know him.
So wait a minute,
allergic
Mr.
to
Fernandez, you're saying Miss Butler is allergic to...
She's allergic to condoms, Your Honor. We never use them. I wasn't even aware of this because we never use condoms.
To the latex material.
To the latex material.
Okay. So now, Miss Butler,
Yeah.
are you or are you not allergic to latex?
Are you?
No.
So you're not?
No.
No, she's not. She just said she was allergic.
Oh, so that was a lie.
That's why we're here, Your Honor, because she's a liar.
No.
She's a liar.
I'm not a liar.
And
I
I
use
need
the
to know
condom.
that's my daughter.
I use the condom, and...
So hold on. First of all, so you're not actually allergic to latex?
No, I'm not.
That's just something you told him?
Yes.
Wow.
Because you wanted to sleep with him without protection?
Yes.
Well, so you trapped me. So she was trying to trap me. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Ms. Butler, you said you did use a condom with this new guy.
Yes.
So obviously there was no allergic reaction because you're not really allergic.
Right.
Your Honor, she's crazy. Your Honor,
no.
she's crazy. Flat out, she's crazy.
Well, you lived with her and you were
I do
married her.
exactly. So he's crazy
I do
too.
live with her, but
So you must like a little crazy.
a little bit.
Your Honor.
Listen, I want,
Right, exactly. Your Honor, I have the calendar to prove when with the dates of conception to prove this my evidence.
I'd like to see
show
that evidence, Ms. Butler. Jerome,
when
will
me
you
and
hand
him
that to me,
had sex.
please?
We had sex that whole week.
So this calendar represents the dates you were intimate with the plaintiff.
Yes.
All right, so you were intimate with Mr. Fernandez on the 1st.
Yes. The 31st, the 1st. Then we got into it. He cheated on me on the 2nd. He came up with like sex, and then I went out with my friend and did what I did.
So now, you submitted this calendar to prove that you were intimate with the plaintiff on the 1st, pretty much that whole week.
That whole
the 1st,
week, yes.
The 6th, the 7th, and the 8th,
Yes.
which is during the window of conception.
Yes, Your Honor.
When were you intimate with the other guy when you all fell out?
Like January 5th.
Well, that's the same week.
Same week.
But he cheated on me on
Same
January
week.
2nd.
That's easy to see. Either man could be the father.
No,
Either one,
because
Your
I
Honor.
wore a condom. I wore a condom.
But
and
she's
I know.
allergic to condoms, Your Honor. Let's not forget
You
that.
keep saying that, but I'm not. The baby looked just
Well, you
like
do
him,
understand
though.
in terms
the
of
baby
his
looked
doubt.
exactly
but
like
Ms.
him, though.
Fernandez, you do understand now. You just admitted in open court that you lied about being allergic to condoms. So
Yes,
if
Your
he
Honor.
came here thinking you were lying, you've now pretty much proven that you were lying at least about that. So he now, of course, questions whether you wore the condom at all.
But the baby looks just like him.
I also
So
have
cute.
evidence. I want to submit pictures when I was a newborn and her as a newborn. At the time that I felt, we looked alike.
All right.
Y'all look alike right now. What do you mean?
Do you
Look
have
at
those
her.
photos?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Fernandez is a child and Divine is a baby, and you say there's no resemblance.
But as she got older,
Look at the
Your Honor,
eyebrows.
as she-
Look at
as
the
she-
eyes. Look at the
Your Honor,
nose.
as she
Look
got
at the
older,
lips.
the baby don't look like me. She looks like Gucci Man.
No, she don't.
She looked like the guy that was in that picture.
She
that
still
was
look
hugged
like
up with.
you.
I don't
Submitted
see it.
this photo.
I don't see it.
Look
Look
like
around
you.
the eyes, the nose, Your Honor. She doesn't look like me.
Because
She
she's
doesn't look like
smiling.
me.
Because she's smiling and you mean mugging. What you mean?
No,
That's
me
the only
mugging.
difference.
I feel there's no resemblance, Your Honor.
And
she resembles
blind.
that guy that was in the picture
He
that she
blind.
was hugged up with. That's who she resembles.
He blind.
To me.
He
She told me
nitpicked with the baby.
She told me the baby wasn't.
So, and you, because you always say it's not yours.
I
So,
didn't.
Hold on,
we
now,
got an
let
argument.
me get to that testimony. What did she say?
She say, when the baby did get conceived,
Okay,
it was here,
because
we
you
was in the
always
home.
throwing
We
in
had an
my
argument.
face.
I went to take the
You
daughter.
cheated,
I'm
it's
gone.
Gucci
I'm gonna
Man
take her. I'm
baby.
leaving.
So,
It's
of
not your
course,
baby
one day,
anyway. That's
so
not
of
your
course,
baby.
one day I'm gonna say,
what?
yeah, it's Gucci Man
Hold
baby,
on.
because that's
What you
all
mean
you
it's not my
say.
baby?
Nobody want to keep hearing that. I don't want to keep hearing this Gucci Man baby. So, of course, I'm going to say, yeah, it's not your baby.
So, Ms. Butler, you do understand now. Once you say that to a man, you can't unring that bell.
But
Especially if it's already ringing in his head.
I understand, Your
yes,
Honor,
Your Honor.
but you still can't. So they
never
can just
cheated.
say whatever they want to say to us, and we just supposed to let our feelings keep getting hurt.
no,
when
no.
he keep on denying the baby, I'm not supposed to be able to say anything.
No. Listen to me. I can understand that maybe your feelings were hurt.
Right.
And in an argument, he probably said things to hurt you.
Yeah, he said a
And
lot
you
of
were
stuff.
trying to say things to hurt
him back, exactly.
However, you have to understand that you tell a man that a child that you believe is his is not his, you don't just hurt his feelings, you hurting your child.
And I need my $300 back.
You're not. How you gonna get $300 for a ring that was mine? That's
My ring.
mine.
My ring.
You gave it to me. You put on my finger.
But that was
so
a
it
part of us,
mine.
our bond, our relationship.
Okay.
But you cheated.
So
You
how
broke
you gonna,
all that.
So
you
how
broke
you
all
gonna
that.
take it back? You pawned it. That's your loss. That's your fault. You should be paying me for the ring that you took from me.
My ring.
Period. It's
All
my
right.
ring.
But
Once you
still-
came back home, did you two decide, okay, we're just gonna be a family, put the past behind us?
That's what we were supposed to
we were
do.
supposed
but
to,
every
but-
Did you
day-
accept Divine, like, you know,
Every
say, you know,
day.
this is my baby, the baby that was coming. You said, okay, I'm in. this is my child, I believe you, it's over.
He acted like he
Yes.
was going to.
I did all that, Your Honor. I cut the baby cord. I cut the baby cord.
That's what I'm getting to. So now you were at doctor's appointments and you showed up to the hospital.
All of that, Your Honor.
You cut the cord.
Yep, yes I did.
Signed the birth certificate, everything. Then wait till she
everything.
get a little bigger and or every time he get mad, now it's not my baby. Now it's not my baby.
And so the
it's
doubts.
Gucci Man baby.
Wait. So when this happened and you're there for the birth and you're participating, you don't have doubts then.
I still had doubts,
He still has. We argue every day.
I still had
every
doubts,
day
Your
it
Honor.
was
Let me
an
talk.
argument.
Can I talk?
No.
John 2, can I talk? Let me
I
talk.
talk? You've been talking.
Your Honor, I still had doubts, but she was just beautiful to me. Still is, you know? And I love her. I do love her.
Because she's
you
your
know?
baby. She look just like you. That's common sense.
All
She
right.
did when she first came.
That's common sense.
She did when she first came. When she first came out, she did look like me. As
so-
you can see
so-
the
But
pictures.
your father was running around. He was in and out your life, so you doing the same thing. My dad did the same thing to me, in and out. And then also, I had my other son. You know, I had went through this same thing, and I just can't do it anymore. I'm not trying to keep on going through this. You know, I want to nip it in the bud because she getting older and she's starting to hear the arguments of him every time we get into it.
But
That's
we
not my
never went through
baby.
this if you
That's
would
Gucci
never
Man
see it.
baby. That's
We
his
never
favorite
went through
line.
this.
That's all I hear. It's Gucci Man baby. I don't
look
know
like the
Gucci
guy-
Man.
she look like the
That's
guy that
not
was in the
him.
picture.
No.
So the
She
truth
looks exactly
is,
like
Mr.
you.
Fernandez, you're
Exactly.
back at home, but you got one foot in the door and one foot out.
Yeah.
That's how I was.
And then he leave and go with other little girls and, you know.
So this
take
is
little break.
affecting your relationship, has
Everything.
torn apart your engagement.
Yes.
And your whole family's
it's
on the
us
line.
apart, Your Honor. I still try to be close and bond with the baby. I got her name tattooed on me. You know,
So you
Okay,
tattooed
but you
all
still
that. I did-
standoffish though. Every time you get an attitude or think I'm doing
When I
something,
get an attitude, it's
still
you. It's
go
towards you.
through.
That's my baby. That's
I
my
know.
baby.
That's what I know. Oh, I
hoping.
know.
I'm hoping.
But you act like you don't know, but I know.
Why don't I know?
I know for sure.
That's what you did.
I'm
So,
not worried
Mr.
about it.
Fernandez, let me ask you this. If the DNA evidence proves that Divine is not your biological daughter, where will you go from here? Can you stick this out? Can you still be a
It's not
family?
sticking this out, Your Honor. These results is impacting everything. Her life, my life, our relationship, everything.
My other kids' life,
yeah,
everything.
So I'm
Because they
gone.
look at
If that's
him-
not my
they look
baby,
at
I'm
him
gone.
like-
Ms.
Look.
Butler, you look like you're almost in tears. I can tell this really hurts.
Yes.
Fake tears.
You talked about your
Not
life.
fake tears.
You talked about the fact that it's happened to you before and the fact that your father was not around and you don't want this for your little
No, I don't want that for none of my kids. That is his baby, and he gonna see, and that way we can move forward and maybe even still get married or anything because I want my family. That's why I've been fighting so hard for it.
So you do
Because
want, your hope is that this will help mend
our relationship.
your relationship and you want your family.
Yes, I love my family. I love him. Even though all the ups and downs, he always been there for me. You know what I'm saying? He is a good dad. He's a great dad. That's why it would kill me if he wasn't. But I know for a fact that she is.
I don't believe it.
There's no question in my mind how much you want this to be Mr. Fernandez's child. And there's no question in my mind how much you want your family to stay together. But I do have to ask, you do understand how a man would live and wrestle with
I understand, Your Honor.
this over and over again in his mind and then have to just rely on you saying, well, we used a condom. Any person would be wondering, well, did she really? You know?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Fernandez, I can see as I look at you that this bothers you.
Yes, it bothers me a lot, Your Honor. Every day I think about it. From work, home, to everywhere, I just think about it. It's on my mind. I love her. I do love that little girl, you know?
Good.
I just need to know, though. I need to know.
Well, that's why we're here, and I have those results for you, Jerome. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Fernandez v. Butler, when it comes to 2-year-old Divine Butler, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Fernandez, when it comes to 2-year-old Divine Butler, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Fernandez, you are her father.
Told you. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. What do you mean? What do you look at her? Do you see her? Do you see her? Do you see her? Look at her. All this time you've been doing that.
Wow.
All this time. I told you that's your baby.
Come here, Ray. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you hear me? You hear me? I'm sorry, you hear me? What's your lipstick on?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Come here, come here. Listen to me, baby. I love you, baby. You hear me? I just want the whole world to see how much I love you. Will you marry me?
Yes.
I love you, baby.
I love you, baby.
That's wonderful.
Wow.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Where my baby at?
Where the baby at all? So, Mr. Fernandez, I can see in your eyes this has been an emotional day. I do have to ask you about your suit. You've now proposed and given yet another ring, and you came here asking for $300 from your other ring.
Girl, I still want my 300.
You get that?
I'm playing, baby. I'm playing with you, babe. She good, Your Honor.
Okay, so is it safe to say you would like to withdraw your suit?
Yes, I do.
And I'm happy for you, too.
Thank you.
You know, I really am so happy. It seems like you all have been up, down, and around, and yet you can't really let go of one another.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
So, you know, relationships are difficult, and marriages are even harder,
Yes, Your Honor.
right? When you have an issue, work it out together. Ms. Bowley-Jack, you and your mother recently appeared in court to help resolve a paternity dispute for your sister. This motivated you to get the answers you've desperately been searching for 3 decades. Your mother has always told you the defendant, Mr. Smith, is your biological father, and you hope today's results prove she's right. Mr. Smith, you say it's admirable that Ms. Bowley-Jack believes her mother, but you say you knew the life Miss Common was living and are absolutely sure you are not the father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Bowley-Jack, I'll start with you. Tell the court what life has been like for the past 30 years.
The past 30 years, I've had a number of emotions: anger, hurt, resentment, not knowing who my father was, growing up with other kids with their fathers, and me not having a father. And even into adulthood, my children question who their grandfather is, and I can't give a clear answer.
And that must hurt.
Yes.
Miss Common,
Yes, Your Honor.
this has been very difficult for your daughter.
Yes.
But you are certain Mr. Smith is her biological father?
I'm absolutely sure, Your Honor.
And growing up telling her this, but her saying she doesn't know, she's not certain.
Well, the only reason that she's not certain that Robert is her father is because he'd never been around. I mean, like, I told him when she was 1 year old that he was the father, and I gave him her address and phone number and told him how he can get in contact with her. But he never did. He got in contact with her once, and then that was it. He didn't get in contact with her no more.
And so, Mr. Smith, Miss Common has said you've had the information. You don't believe you're Miss Bowley-Jack's biological father?
No, ma'am. I don't believe so. She don't favor none of my kids. You know what I mean? So, and then the mama, she was out there living the life.
Hold up, baby. I was not out there living the life. When me and you were together, baby, it was just me and you. It was like summer love. It was just me and you. We was together. It was summer love, baby. It was me and you. It wasn't no, I was out there. And you know the reason I left you. I left you because you would have went out there hoeing around.
So what was the nature of the relationship? Tell me. Well, you said it was summer love, Miss Common.
Yeah, but girl, women kept coming up to me telling me that Rob was their man and wanted to fight me over Robert and stuff like that, so I left him. And I got with my other older boyfriend, and I told him that he was...
First of all,
And I told him, And I told him that he was the father because he was much older and he was much responsible for taking care of her. But there's a possibility that he's the father too.
Oh, so you're saying right now that there is a possibility that someone else is your daughter's biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because at the time when it was summer love with Mr. Smith,
I was still going back to my ex.
After you got done with him because he was acting up.
Right.
When the summer love turned cold.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
and you went back
cold.
to the ex.
And I went back to my ex, yes, because he was much older and much more responsible.
Yeah, but
do
that's
you
not
remember
true.
this relationship, this summer love, Mr. Smith?
No, it wasn't like that. She lying. She lying.
What was it like? If I was horn, who was I horn with? Name one man I was with.
I only hit it a few times.
Oh, okay.
For real, only a few times. Nah.
Well, how many times did we have sex?
Look, about 3 times.
I'm sorry.
About 3 times. That was it.
I just don't want to hear all that. Can we get back to
That was it. You know? She disappeared.
But it only takes once. You know that.
I understand.
And if you didn't use protection, that's how you make babies.
And we didn't use protection. Neither time. At all the times we made love, we never used protection.
All right. So we know that you were having unprotected sex. So now we do understand that you two have now entered the zone at that point where you could create a child.
Yes.
So take me to the point you find out you're pregnant, Miss Common.
Okay, when I found out I was pregnant, I already knew in my heart that Rob was the father. And I didn't want to tell him because he was too childish and he was just crazy. So I moved back with my family members and my family members helped me raise Lorraine.
And so is it your testimony you never told him about your daughter?
When she was first born, I never told him until she was like a year old.
What happened? How did you get in contact with him?
Well, I went back over to my old hood where he lives at, and I went over there to see a friend, and I ran right into him, and I told him, like, you got a baby. I just told him, you got a baby. And he was like, what? Who is she? I mean, what is her name? And how she look? And who is she with? And stuff like that. And he was acting like he was so excited about the baby. That's how come I don't understand why he's knuckling up now.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Were you excited when you found out, Mr. Smith? Do you remember this conversation?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Lorraine, you do?
Yeah.
And Lorraine was 1. So then what did you do to pursue a relationship with your daughter, or did you do anything?
I didn't, Your Honor.
Even though you acted happy about it?
Yes.
So why didn't you ever show up?
Because he was too busy out there horning around, having partying and horning around.
I was doing my thing. I was doing my thing. I ain't gonna lie. I was doing my thing.
And so, Miss Bowley,
man,
I know you was.
Miss Bowley Jack, when you hear this conversation, the fact that this man who your mom says is your biological father was excited to hear about you, but never ever came to see you.
Your Honor, I spoke with him once when I was 12. He called the phone. He told me that he was my father. So it's surprising today that he does not have any recollection or anything. But when I spoke to him when I was 12, he told me he was my father. He gave me a phone number that I can contact him back on. 2 days later, I tried to contact him. The phone was disconnected. So everything that's going on today is just like, it's so many inconsistent stories from both parties.
And so, Miss Bowley Jack, I want you to look at Mr. Smith and I want you to tell him what it felt like waiting 12 years to get a call and then after that, calling 2 days later and that number being disconnected.
It was a horrible feeling. No child should ever have to not know who their father is, and then when you do call, you basically sent me off. You gave me a number that was disconnected that I could not contact you back on, and then I never heard from you again until I took initiative to find you. You never took initiative to look for me, to look for my mom, even in that matter. You didn't do anything.
And how did that make you feel?
Hurt, angry, disgusted.
And Mr. Smith, when you hear Ms. Bolijack, when you hear Lorraine describe what it felt like as a child, how does it make you feel to hear that?
It really hurts me. It really hurts me, you know?
Why did you disappear? Why? You had opportunity. She came to find you, to tell you. At 1, that would have been before Lorraine could remember all of this. Why? Why did you disappear?
It was, Your Honor, it's the life I was living out there, you know? I wasn't ready to step up to the plate and have any kids.
Did you think some years? I mean, you had to think about her if you called her at 12 years old. What made you call that
Your Honor,
day?
I think he always had her in her mind because anytime I run into him, where my daughter at? You know, where she at? What she doing? That's how I don't understand why he gonna try to sit up here now and say, well, she was a hoe. She ain't my daughter. No, don't sit up there. Don't try to throw me under the bus. Because I wasn't in her life either, Your Honor. So I didn't have a relationship with her. So she didn't have her mother or her father in her life. And, you know, years down the line, the Lord delivered me. He delivered me off of drugs. I went to treatment and stuff like that. And I've been in her life ever since, and I helped her raise her kids.
Amen. Yeah. It's almost 30 years. So after the phone call at 12 years old, you promise her, I guess you're gonna keep in touch, and then the number disconnected.
I was messed up too.
And so did you ever really doubt it, or were you just not ready? Which one?
I had doubts, both.
And why did you have doubts?
Because he met me a little while down the line, and when he met me, I was in my addiction. And
but Ms. Common, you did admit, though, there was one other man, which was your ex.
Yes.
Was the time you went back with your ex anywhere near the window of conception?
Okay, so like when I left Robert and I went back to my ex, I had sex with him the same day I went back with him. And I didn't find out I was pregnant until a month later after that. But I had sex with both of them on the same day.
Okay, so that is what a paternity issue is made of.
That's why I said I don't know for sure if it's really Rob or...
And so how did you just decide it was Mr. Smith?
Well, because she looks exactly like his family members. She looked exactly like him.
What about my other kids? I got other kids.
I know you got other kids by other mothers. I'm saying who she looked like. She looked just like your family members. You even admitted it yourself.
And so the truth is you didn't know for sure because you had sex with 2 different men in the same day. Eventually, you really started to observe the calendar.
Yes.
To figure out, okay, let's look at this window of conception.
Yes.
So this is the calendar you submitted to the court. You said July is when you believe you conceived, right?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
And that's when you were with Mr. Smith, but you also admit you were sexually active with your ex.
Yes.
So it is around the window of conception.
Yes.
And so Lorraine was born April 21st. And so if you do the calculation and you count back, the window of conception lines up, but unfortunately would point at 2 different men, your ex and Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Now it makes more sense to me why you were motivated as well to disappear. Truth is, you didn't know.
I didn't know, no.
Did you tell the ex that he was the father and that you were pregnant?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes, I did.
So did he take care of Lorraine?
Yes, he did when she was a baby. Yes, he did. He went to the hospital with me. You know, he was there for her.
So, Lorraine, do you have a relationship with the other man?
No. To my remembrance, I've never had a relationship with him. I don't remember anything from a baby, so.
Do you have a relationship with Mr. Smith now?
We talk, and he's been to my church with me.
Does he accept you as his daughter, or is there still a feeling of limbo?
I believe between both of us, there's still a feeling of limbo.
What are your hopes?
My hopes is that she actually knows what she's talking about, that he is the father. But more so, my hopes is just for the truth to come out. That's it. I just want to know, not even for me, because at this point, I'm grown. I don't need anything from a father, but I would love my kids to have their grandfather like they have their grandmother, so.
And she still need her dad. Even though she's saying she's grown, I still feel like she still reaches out like she really need her dad in her life.
What are your hopes, Mr. Smith?
That I am her father, and then so I can get to know my grandbabies.
Well, let's not wait any longer to get the results. Jerome, I'm ready. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Common versus Smith, when it comes to 29-year-old Lorraine Bolijak, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Smith, you are not the father. I'm very sorry. Very, very sorry, Lorraine. I was hoping to be able to give you the closure you need and deserve. Miss Common, I have to ask you, does that mean your daughter's father is your ex-boyfriend, or is there someone else?
No, there's no one else. It was just them two, So he's definitely the father.
So do you know where he is?
Yes, I know where he is. I'm gonna call him and let him know.
Also, Miss Common, if there is somebody else, your testimony did change in this courtroom. This is the point in time where you call up the strength to just tell the truth. And what I will say is you've overcome so much when you talk about a life of addiction and the way that you are there now for your grandchildren. I need you to use that same strength to be that mother for your daughter. Lorraine, is there anything you'd like to say?
To him, to Rob, I'm sorry. I mean, it really isn't my fault, you know. But like I said, both stories were inconsistent, so.
Your Honor, can I say something? Can I hug them?
If they're okay with it, of course.
Okay. I know